Today, I will help you understand how to overcome objections when closing a sale. How many of you have experienced some challenging objections when you've tried to close a sale? If you've been in sales at all, I'm sure you've experienced that. This is a topic that I really enjoy, and by the end of this video, I'm going to show you how to overcome objections and give you 3 foolproof phrases that will help you overcome any objection that you encounter. The sales reps that I've seen make hundreds of thousands of dollars have all been really good at overcoming objections. However, there are some tidbits and secrets from some of the best closers out there. And I want to break down for you first, why customers even have objections. Second, how you should approach objections and what not to do. And finally, I want to give you 3 phrases that work every single time an objection comes up. If you're ready, let's go. So what are objections? A sales objection is an indication that a specific reason is preventing a buyer from purchasing the product or service from you. Funny thing is, most sales objections are rarely communicated to tell the sales reps no. Some sales reps make the mistake of interpreting a sales objection as a nicer form of rejection, and they let the sale walk. And in most scenarios, that's not even the case. It's just an objection where it's interpreted by the salesperson as, hey, no, I'm not interested, I'm moving on. Really, it's just a question that is unanswered by the sales rep. You know, for example, if I were to walk into a car dealership and I was to talk to a sales rep and he was to show me a car, and if I were to say, you know what, I just don't think that model's for me, if he interpreted it that I'm not interested and I walk out the door, that would be a big mistake on his part, right? Because if I went in there looking for something and I said that model isn't for me, a good sales rep would take that as like he wants another model and I'll show him another one, or I'll ask him more questions specifically about what he wants in order for me to find out exactly what he's looking for. So let's find out, why do customers have objections? Well, I kind of touched on it above, but really it's an underlying question that isn't being answered. Another reason though is they might not be confident in moving forward with their purchasing decision. They are objecting to try and gain a better understanding or to get more confidence in themselves to move forward with the purchase. So by asking them questions, trying to get more clarity, they're getting a better understanding of exactly what they're trying to buy or build more confidence in themselves by understanding it better. That's why good salespeople rarely take no for an answer. So how do you approach an objection? The first thing you do, absolutely 100% every single time, is approach it with confidence. Be ready to respond to any objection you have with absolute confidence. Coming in a scared, quiet, low voice is only going to tell the person that the objection they had is exactly why they had the objection, and it's an easy way for them to get out of it. But if you respond with confidence, even if you don't know the answer, I would much rather have you say, that is a great question and I'll get the answer for you. It's so much better than saying, well, I think it's because this or that. That kind of shy, passive voice is not going to do anything for you as far as overcoming objections. You need to be authoritative. You need to speak from a place of confidence, even if you don't know the answer. It is so much better to be able to say, I don't know, but I'll find out, than speaking in a passive voice, maybe even with the right answer. I used to have a sales manager that I worked with for a period of time, and he would listen to people's calls on the phone. And it was kind of funny, right? Kind of mean, but kind of funny. He would actually listen to a call, and sometimes he'd walk up and he would just go hang the phone up on the person. And they'd look at him like, what are you doing? You just hung up the phone on me. He said, listen, trust me, it was better I hang up the phone and you called him back until you got disconnected, because what you were saying, you had no confidence, you weren't saying the right thing, so call him back and do it this way. And I thought that's a good point, right? Because if you're doing it the wrong way, and especially when it comes to overcoming objections, you are going to lose that potential sale. It's better to stop and pause, recalibrate, and go back at it. You know, I remember one of my first forays into selling was door-to-door sales. I was selling pest control in California, and we had trainings every single day to get better. And I was really taken to these trainings, and I was becoming really good at it. And I remember somebody was watching me, and I went up to a door and I knocked on the door, and he just saw that I represented a pest control company. The first words out of his mouth were like, no thanks, I already have pest control. He was basically telling me to get off his porch, right? But I had learned how to respond with confidence. I actually ended up getting the sale. The first words out of my mouth were, of course you do. It's California. Everybody has pest control. But I want to stop by and tell you what we're doing for your neighbors. At that point, he stopped and shut down what he was doing, listened to me, found out that our service was superior for about the same price, and he went ahead and switched over from the service that he had with the service that I was offering. And it clicked for me right there at that point that confidence and having the right answer was going to make a world of difference when it came to my sales career. Here's a few things of what not to do. You've got to eliminate filler words. Filler words are like, you know, well, maybe, it destroys any type of confidence that you think that you have. It is so much better just to pause and wait and then respond with confidence. So if somebody has an objection, rather than saying, yeah, I think it's what I'm going to do. Well, yeah, this, bad. If they have an objection, pause. Yeah, I'll answer that for you, and then moving forward. So filler words, you've got to eliminate them if you're gonna have a career in sales. All right, let's get to these 3 powerful phrases that you can start using right now to overcome objections, and I love these. And I remember when they were introduced to me, I thought, holy cow, and I've trained on these phrases for the last 2 decades of my sales career, and it's really helped a lot of people overcome objections. And here's the 3 phrases. The first one is, that's exactly why I called, or that's exactly why I stopped by, or that's exactly why I'm here. That's exactly why I called. The second one is, that is the best thing about our service, or that's the best thing about a product, or that's the best thing about the organization I represent. And the third one is, that is why people love ... That's why people love this organization. That's why people love this service. That's why people love so-and-so. So those 3 phrases are absolutely powerful when overcoming objections. That's exactly why I called. That's the best thing about ... And that's why everybody loves ... So in our business, we've had people say, you know what? I'm just not sure if this program's for me. Well, that's why people love our coaching program, because it takes all the guesswork out of it and allows you to ... Right? So if anything, these 3 phrases allow you to respond with confidence and then get your ultimate objection, and then it helps you get your ultimate answer to the objection in place. But it buys you that time and allows you to respond with confidence. So I encourage you, try these 3 phrases in any objection that you have, and make sure that you have the correct response to the objection immediately afterwards, but that buys you the time. These are some things that I've seen work really well in my sales career. And as I mentioned, I love overcoming objections. I love the topic, and I'd love to hear any feedback that you have when it comes to overcoming objections, and I'd love to enter in a dialogue with you. And as always, just for visiting my page, watching the video, I have a free gift for you, aaronsalstraining.com. It's 10 modules of our best sales training, Persuasion and Influence. We normally offer it for $1,000, but it's 100% free for you. Just click on the link below. And as always, thanks for watching. Have an awesome day.